I cannot express how much fun this is. Oh yes, my fellow tarnished. Hello and welcome to my latest and greatest build creation. The star of the show today is in contention for my favourite new Ash of War of Shadow of the Erdtree. It is the Poisoned Flower Blooms Twice, or 3 times. 4, 5, 6. You'll be pressing it a lot, but the point is, it's a really upgraded version of a base game Ash of War I tried to make work, no matter how anticlimactic it sometimes felt. That one being Poison Moth Flight. The goal of it was simply to detonate poison on the enemy into a big burst of damage. And on paper that was fun, but it kinda sucked. Well, sucked isn't fair, but it certainly wasn't up there with the best of the best. Whereas now, Poison Flower Blooms Twice is doing what it tried to do, but well, a lot more than well. This thing is easy to use, it hits hard, it has hyper armor, it covers massive distance, it looks fantastic, and is just generally an all-round perfect poison and rot punishing package. So how could I not, when I saw it, experimented with it, try and push it to the limit, and that is what I have done. A triple status bleed rot poison build that will be ultra satisfying to use, while at the same time, of course, being ridiculously powerful. Just moving through the world, enemies, levels, leaping up into the air, and then slamming down with this needle of flowery poison erupting from your foot is so cool. And notice there I said foot. This counts as a kicking attack, which means it's particularly boostable by a lot of the new items that support, well, said kicking. And yes, I even killed the Rot Saint with this Rot build just to prove that it was possible, because that felt like a fun bit of irony. In any case, let's get into this. The Poison Flower Blooms Twice then. You go up in the air, you grow a needle of rot out of your foot, and then slam down on the target, injecting them with it, doing a load of damage, and building up Scarlet Rot. Yes, this will build up rot, irrelevant of what weapon you're using, what affinity it's set to, anything like that, which makes it a really nice rot tool to just kind of universally have. It also can go on, well, all of the weapons. Now, the explosion when you land can also hit things that you missed with the initial kick, so that's worth noting too. I have a random +0 damage here so I can demonstrate this. It does good damage by itself, but the real magic of it is when you hit a target already affected by either rot or poison. It doesn't matter which one, doesn't matter if it's deadly poison, doesn't matter if it's both at the same time, it just needs to be at least one. So initially then, if I give him the good old kick, you can see it does about 400 damage on the +0, which is already kind of nice. And there we go, 2 kicks and now he has Scarlet Rot. So he's on about, what, 450 damage? We will hit him with the kick and then boom! That was like 900. Triple damage from when he wasn't rotted or poisoned. That's the core concept here. Apply poison or rot as fast as possible, detonate it with a kick and repeat, and it makes for just a wonderful playstyle. So with my actual weapons of choice then, to just give this another quick demonstration, there we go, he is now poisoned, up we go, and yeah. That's what we like to see. He gets comfortably one-shot. I've had it hit from about 6 to 10k, depending on the target and the situation, and that is really delicious. Now, before we get into the build, I just want to make a note on the weapon. I'm going to be pioneering for Venomous Fang here, because I love it, and I think it's particularly good for this, but because this Ash of War is so flexible, it can go on any weapon, you can use essentially whatever you like. All you really need is a fast-hitting weapon with this Ash on scaled to poison and thus arcane, and then you can go to town. I used it with success on the new Pata, I've used it with success on new hand-to-hand, hell, I even gave it a good old go with the new Swift Spear and its unique double-hitting moveset. The point is, you just want a good, fast poison applying weapon in your right hand, and the only thing to keep in note though is you do not want to be power stancing. A paired weapon is fine, but you do not want to have a other weapon in your left hand. That slot is taken, and we'll get to why that is. Stats wise then, the default 150, you want the 60 vigor as required, 15 mind is fine, you could probably get away with a bit less, it's very FP efficient, endurance enough to medium roll in the weight that we will have, but extra isn't bad. Having some more stamina is nice. It does use a fair bit of stamina, nothing crazy, but it is noticeable. The minimum strength for the weapon of choice, the minimum dex for your weapon of choice, and then 25 faith for our usual suspect buffs, and then at least 60 arcane to scale our poison, and also in this case, bleed application. So, the rest of your stats can just go into scaling your weapon damage more with either strength or dex as you see fit. Equipment-wise then, you want the Venomous Fang with the Poison Flower blooms twice, Ash of War set to blood. I like this in particular because we still get a hefty amount of poison because it's a natural poison weapon, but we also get, hey, a hefty amount of blood loss from this particular infusion combo, meaning you can build up both statuses very, very quickly. And while I said, and of course stand by the fact that this is very flexible with what weapon you can use it on as long as it's not power stancing, choosing a weapon with base bleed and putting on poison affinity, or a weapon with base poison and putting on bleed affinity will give you optimum results, and I like these claws. Then we want the poisoned hand in your, well, offhand. This is why we can't power stance a weapon. And the reason being is that when poison happens, you gain damage. This is essentially the poison version of the Madding Hand from the Madness damage amping combo, and it's really nice to have this free extra boost constantly happening throughout the fight. So when we are here, as you see, it is on my left hand. Even though I will two-hand my weapon here, so it's grayed out, it's still technically there, and it will still technically proc as my poisons happen. Whereas if I had a different weapon in my left, if I was power stancing or something, obviously it's gone, so it's not going to occur. That's one of the key little secret sources here to get just that little bit more damage. Then any given 0 weight seal, you're just going to be buffing, so a frenzied one is fine. Armor then, you want the Mushroom Crown, so you gain damage when rotten poison happens nearby. Technically, you can use the White Mask instead if you really value your fashion, but it will happen less because we're applying poison very, very quickly. Then you technically want to get yourself Rakshasas armor, but I went with the Divine Bird just for fashion here, but if you really want to min-max, yes, Rakshasa, like I have with the gloves, because they just completely go away, as you can see, while you're using the weapons, so it's free hidden damage without affecting the look. And the reason the look is like this is because we have to use Divine Bird Warrior Greaves. These are new, and essentially they just raise the power of kick attacks, which, as we've established, the Poison Flower blooms twice is considered one. So that's really, really nice to be able to get that little bit extra out. Of course, we want Alexander's then, talisman-wise, as we will be using the Ash of War. We want Shattered Stone Talisman, as again, it is a kick, and this is an extra boost to that. We want Kindred of Rots, as we are poisoning and rotting all the time, and we want Lord of Bloods, as we are bleeding all the time, and these two combined, constantly happening, is a huge damage increase. In your Wondrous Physic, you want the Thorny Crack tier, as we're attacking a lot and rapidly to proc the Poisoned and Bleed, and that will proc the many hits damage bonus very nicely, and then either if you're doing easier things or don't think you need the defensive help, the blood-sucking tier, or if you want the extra defensive insurance, Opaline Hard tier. And incantations-wise, the usual Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength, and then anything else you feel like working in that works with your stats. And that's kind of it then. The strategy is very simple, and we can see it nicely on Messmer. We fully buff up with everything that we have, enter, and then we want to hit him rapidly until he gets poisoned. Once he's poisoned, hop up in the air and kick him for massive damage, and then we simply repeat. Our actual, melee hits are so respectably powerful because we are getting this poison, this bleed, proccing both talismans, and we're skyrocketing our AR while having this huge burst kick, also powered up by the skyrocketing of our AR to back it up and end the fight very quickly. And then against easier bosses, or just exploring the world, or just because if you want to, you can completely play this by just using the Ash of War over and over and over again. That will be very effective too. Let's talk then how to get everything that is new in Shadow of the Erdtree, as I will assume you have all of the base game things. So first and foremost, the Ash of War itself, Poison Flower blooms twice. This is from the Ravine North Site of Grace. You want to head just the tiniest little bit south right here, and you will find it almost instantly, and from where I am right now, I can already see it. But head towards this little ledge up of rock, hop up on Torrent, and you will see a little pool of rot on the ground. The beetle that drops it is just hanging out in and around this pool. Kill him and enjoy your Ash of War, and watch out for the pests. The Poisoned Hand, then, is from Bellarat, the first Legacy Dungeon. You need to find yourself a sewer key in the dungeon about halfway through, and then you can climb down the well near the start and the first Site of Grace to use said key, unlock it, and then you will exit out into a lovely, poisony, swampy area where there is a few fun little things, but the one we care about is the Poisoned Hand that you can find on the floor and pick up. For Rakshasas armor, I'm sure you will both already know and likely be sick of hearing it by now because it's just popping up in everything, because why not? It's free damage if you're not fashion conscious, which, let's be honest, everyone should be. In any case, it's from the Recluse's River upstream. You want to just hug the cliff as you go round, stick to it, and then you will end up here at the Eastern Nameless Mausoleum where Rakshasa is, so you kill him and then take all of his lovely stuff. For your Divine Bird Warrior Greaves, we need to farm Divine Bird Warriors. The earliest, easiest place I've found for that is from the Church of the Bud main entrance Grace in the Ruav Ruins. You want to turn around, go back from whence you came, and then head down the stairs immediately in front of you. Bank to the right and past by one of the pests, head outside into the open area where you will see a Divine Bird Warrior on a little patrol path. You can kill him, get your Silver Scarab on, raise your item discovery, and hope you get his legs to drop. If you have made it to Enia Ilim, there is also Divine Bird Warrior about 15 feet from the first Grace, so you can farm that one instead, and that one will be quicker if you are post Saint of the Bud. For the Shattered Stone Talisman, start at the North Ruins Site of Grace, and then we will be simply heading straight into said ruins. We want the Fallen House that's underneath the archway straight ahead of you that I am approaching now. Hop round to the right and you will see a big hole in the ground. Fall down into it, make sure you actually land on the ledge, unlike I just did. Oh my god. Make sure you land on the ledge, and then the talisman will be on a body right here. That then is that. I hope you have enjoyed this. It's not one of those, mindless walk in the boss, press one button and delete him with 1 billion damage, but it is very strong and most importantly, very fun. This is a great new Ash of War. It's very much entertaining to use, and it's really cool to do all of this status mix-up and have something just a little bit different. I've always been a fan of trying to make poison work because everyone always underestimates it, and this has made me very happy. For now though, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe, hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.